Hey guys, welcome to today's vlog. So today we're doing a lot of grid work. We are basically doing a grid on all the horses today, which is quite fun. So Lauren has started off the day with Brad, now she's on Gabbana, then she's gonna ride Fernanda and then Pepper. So I'm just giving her a hand with that, with the videoing and the jumps. I'm being pole B, can't say it on the internet. And then once she's jumped her four, I'm going to jump Dali and Khal through the grid, which would be really, really fun. So with Dali, I think this is more kind of for his strength and getting him kind of sitting on his bum and using himself well. And I think I might try and do a nice wide oxer because he can sometimes jump very up in the air and not so much across the fence, although I will say he's gotten a lot better with that recently. He's feeling really good, but I'll just see how he feels through it. And then with Khal, this is kind of just like a sharpening up little gymnastics for him before a show next weekend. We have an international coming up. My entries haven't been accepted yet, but I was talking to the show yesterday and they were asking what classes I was thinking of doing. And I told them, and they said that gives me a better chance of getting in. So hopefully, but it's quite last minute. Today's Wednesday, and we would be going to the show next Wednesday. It's a week away, and I don't know if I'm going yet. But anyway, I will just prepare as if I am going, and then worst case scenario, we're not, and then that's fine. So I'm just going to watch Lauren for another few horses, and we've also been taking some very nice videos on her good camera, and really nice. So they're going to be on our Instagrams basically, and that's it. I've just been enjoying watching, and then I can't wait to jump my boys later on. And then I think that's it for the day. Just going to tip around after that, do a few bits. So I'll catch up with you guys later. So this is the grid that we've set up. It's 2 cross pull bounces, a 1 stride to a vertical, 1 stride to an oxer. So it's just aimed at getting them to sit up, make a nice round jump shape over the fences. And then the oxer at the end means that they really have to use that power and push off after being so careful and up and down. They need to then be able to push forward and get the back bar at the last fence. So it's a little bit tough for them, but it's good workout. Hey guys, I thought I'd just do a quick voiceover to chat a little bit about grid work in general and how I use it in training. Grid work for me is a really good tool to help teach horses to use themselves better, to make a better technique. And I think it's really important to let the horse figure it out and to let the grid do the work for you. So what I tend to do is just either trot or canter in really nice and relaxed. My job is to get them there straight and relaxed, and once I've done that, then it's their job to do the grid. I don't think you should be, sitting up and really pulling and using your reins to back them off the fences and back them off the bounces. That's what the grid's there for. It's to teach them to do the work so that you don't have to lift them up off fences when you're jumping around courses, that they do that for you. I also find it really helpful tool for getting horses to push off both hind legs equally and become straighter. That's why I always use cross pulls as bounces, because they're really good for getting the horses straight and using their shoulders nicely. And I also have the V pulls on the middle part, again just for that straightness. So once I've gotten them to the grid straight and relaxed, I just keep a soft rein, a soft seat. I just use my leg as needed, but that's all the help I give. It's just for the horse to figure it out. With regards to what height to do, I tend to warm up at a low height, get them through it, get them thinking about it. Then just put it up slowly until you just feel like they're having to try. I think that's the nice point, to do a couple of rounds at the height that they're just trying. It's just a little bit difficult, but it's not so hard that they're going to get a fright, that they're going to, lose confidence or anything like that. That's not what this is about. It's about staying confident, but just making it difficult enough that they have to work and use themselves. It's also very important to make sure you're coming off both reins. We put the grid in the center line for this reason, so that we can come off both reins. I understand that if you have a smaller arena, that's not always possible. With that, I used to have a very, very small arena. I would just pick one day I do on the left rein, and then make sure that I make note of that, and then the next time I do a grid, I do it on the right rein, so that you're staying even and the horse isn't becoming a lot stronger on one side. It's also the same with landing. You need to make sure that you're able to land on both reins, that the horse isn't always landing on one rein.
Okay, thank you.
So first through the grid was Dali. Dali is 7 years old, but as you can see, he is a very, very big boy. He is just under 18 hands. So he's definitely a horse that's going to come into his own a little bit later in life, and is going to take more time to get strong. So that's why grid work like this is really good for him, but it was something that I didn't do for a long time because of how big and weak he was. He used to find it very difficult, but now you can see that he is, he's actually very light on his feet for such a big horse. He finds the bounces very easy, and even with that kind of bouncing short canter, the careful vertical, he's able to compress his body and then extend it for the oxer quite well. And this is something that has come with strength, because he has all the scope in the world. He just needs to learn to get strong and harness it. So I was very happy with how he jumped through this grid. I think it definitely shows how far he's come, and how rideable he's become, and how athletic he is despite having such a big frame. Alrighty, so I've just jumped Dali and now I'm up on Khal. So with Dali, I was very happy with him. He definitely found it difficult, and because he's so big, he had to really shorten for the bounces, sit back for the vertical, jump that nice and slowly, and then really push from behind for the oxer. And just the way he's built, he has slightly smaller hindquarters than shoulders, so that's why we just need to work extra hard to get him really strong at his hind end and pushing really well for those big oxers and those back bars. But I was really happy with how he jumped, especially because sometimes when he was younger, if I did grid work, he would get very careful, very up in the air. But here I was able to widen out that oxer and it was still good. And he was trying really hard and staying loose behind and not getting, worried and tight. So I was very, very happy with that. I didn't make it huge with him. I just wanted to, it was just enough that he was starting to find it difficult, but not high enough that, there was any chance of him getting a fright or, hitting it or anything like that. So it was just a nice height for him. And we haven't actually done grid work in quite a while, so that'll be the start of it now. We'll do a little bit more with him all the time, just working on that flexibility and strength. So now it's time for Khal's turn. Khal should jump a little bit bigger, only because he finds it so much easier, so it just takes a bigger fence to challenge him. So yeah, we'll just have to warm him up down it, see how he feels, and then just pop it up until he starts to have to work, basically. So yeah, I will start warming up now and catch up with you guys very shortly. Second to go through the grid was Khal. Khal is 9 this year and he's much more experienced. He's jumped up to 140, so this is something he has done many times, and because he is that bit smaller and more compact, he finds this very easy. He finds these bounces super easy, and it just felt quite simple. It did mean we had to go a bit bigger with the oxer to reach the point where he had to work, but once we reached that, I just did it a couple of times. With kind of older horses, I feel like it's even more important to really focus on making sure they're not becoming one-sided, that they don't find one rein easier than the other. So I'm always really strict to make sure that he jumps on both reins and evenly, and he develops evenly on both reins, and he feels the same. And if I feel like he's a little bit weaker on one rein, I'll do that maybe once or twice more just to develop that side a little bit more and really focus on my straightness. But to be honest, not a huge amount to say with him. I just popped him down. It was just to sharpen him up for the show, which, as I put in a little comment, we actually aren't going to, because we unfortunately didn't get a spot, but we do have a show in 2 weeks time instead, and that he's hopefully going to be jumping the 140 there, so I'm very excited, and it'll be his first international 140 class, so we have plenty of preparation to do. So I might film a bit of like how we prepare for that and what I kind of focus on in the days leading up to a big show, if that's something that you guys would be interested in. But other than that, I will leave the video here, and I hope you guys enjoyed it and maybe got a little bit of inspiration to do grid work and gymnastic work with your own horses. So thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.